Way back in 2007, this right here was my very first pair of Air Jordan 3s, and I absolutely loved them. Fast forward to today, 2025, and they are back for the first time as a retro. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and breakdown on these bad boys right here. This is the Air Jordan 3 in the Black Cat colorway. Like I was saying before, the shoe originally released way back in 2007. And also, like I was saying before, this right here is my first pair of the Air Jordan 3, or at least it was. This was my introduction to the model, not literally, but as far as me actually owning and wearing a pair, it was my very first one. I was so excited. I did not get them at retail. I ended up getting them afterwards from Craigslist, believe it or not. That is where we used to go before Facebook marketplaces, social media, and all this stuff. Craigslist was the spot. You'd go on there, you'd search up shoes, you would meet up with people, you'd do a buy, sell, trade, whatever it is that you were trying to do, and that's how I acquired them. This 2025 release is a little bit different than the original, and before I talk about those differences, if you like this hoodie or any of the other hoodies that we just recently dropped as part of our Icons collection, we have a very small amount left over that we just put on the site. It's over at senseapparel.com. Links are down below in the description box, and yes, they are ready to ship. Now, one of the differences between the original and this guy right here is actually the box. I'm actually surprised that this is the box that they come in. This is an original style box, but recently when you get a non-original colorway of an Air Jordan 3, they kind of come in that weird split box where like part of it is elephant print on the lid and the colorway of the box is tied to the colorway that you're getting in the box, which would be the shoes colorway. That's not the case here. Instead, they put it in an original style box. Again, I thought that was interesting. The original box from the original release back in 2007 actually came in, I don't know what they call these. They were after the face boxes, but they were like black and silver. They had some like chrome detailing on them. There was like the dots right here, and inside every dot was one of the letters that spells out Jordan. They were simple, they were clean, and models were featured in that box for a very long time, until the YouTube years. One other thing that's missing with this release compared to the original is one of these bad boys. If you've never seen one of these, this, my friends, is a retro card, and this is awesome. At least it was. They were so cool. They taught people, believe it or not, about the history, man. You'd think that a legacy brand like Jordan Brand would want to continue that because, you know, stories matter, at least according to them. Only stories that sell shoes, apparently, not real stories like history. Now, this is not the card that came with this particular pair. This actually came with the white cements, but same overall thing where they would give you a picture or a depiction that, you know, represented the shoe. On the backside, it would give you a little blurb on some history tidbits, which was really cool. And then they would also have a timeline of which, like, whatever the most recent Air Jordan was out, that's how many shoes were featured on this thing, and I just thought it was really dope. And last but not least, behind the pull tab, originally stated Black Cat, it was stitched or embroidered in there, and that's not on this release. And there are some other small differences, but we will get into that as we review the product. So starting off with the outsole, it looks damn near identical to the original Black Cat, not the original 3, like the 3 from '88. When we're talking about retros, it can be a little confusing because when I say original, when it's talking about, or when I'm talking about like an original version, it can still be an original retro, you know what I'm saying? So this right here was not an original colorway. As most of you guys know, black cement, white cement, fire red, true blue. Those are the only originals from 1988. Every colorway that's different afterwards is a retro colorway, what used to be called Retro Plus. But either way, the original Black Cat colorway from 2007 looked just like this. They even had that perfect crisp outline in white on the bottom. It looked awesome. Moving on up to the midsole, there is a super glossy all black paint. The midsole itself is still polyurethane. Inside that polyurethane is an encapsulated 4-foot air sole unit, and in the rear there is a visible one. Now, I cannot remember specifically, but when you look at this midsole here, there is not quite matte, but it's pretty close. The bottom line is matte, and then the top line where you would normally see color on other colorways, like say the true blues, this section right here on the top would be painted true blue, and on this is where that high gloss finish is at. So the bottom half matte, the upper half high gloss. I will say, make sure that you check your pairs just in case. This left shoe right here has got a lot of scuffing on the midsole itself, like on the paint, not something that you can actually remove, which is kind of unfortunate. So if you're looking to get a perfect pair, you're gonna have to check your pairs before you actually like leave the store. If you buy online or on sneakers or whatever it is, just cross your fingers. Now the insole is this guy right here. This is a Dream Cell insole. You could take this out and swap it out for anything else that you'd like. I think that they're okay. They're not like the best insoles ever. They're not quite polyurethane polyurethane level, but they are polyurethane based. However, if you wanted a slightly better insole, Move has got you covered with their baseline. That one does not feature any arch plates. It's very neutral, so you can slap them in this guy right here and be good to go. Now the upper on these and the overall shape is definitely different from the original. This one right here has the brand new shape, aka the original shape from 1988, and they look fantastic. This toe box, the height of the elephant print, the thinness of the elephant print cracked lines. I've said this before in various other Air Jordan 3 reviews, at least the modern ones, and I will say it again, Jordan Brand has the Air Jordan 3 down. This is one of the shoes that they have at this point in time perfected as far as a retro is concerned. I really hope we can get there with other models, like say the Air Jordan 5 or the Air Jordan 12. And yes, I am rooting for them. I'm a massive Jordan Brand fan. I just like to tell it like it is. So if you're not getting something that's great, I'll let you know. But like I was saying, the materials right here, they are slightly different from the original. The first thing that just pops out in my mind at least is this patent leather rand right here at the mudguard. This is a straight up all black patent leather finish. The original had a little bit of like a glittery look to it. It was really cool. It was almost like car paint. So this one does not have it in there. Do I think that that's like a deal breaker as far as like me wanting the shoe again for nostalgic reasons? No, not really. Like when I put these on, I was like, holy crap. Like it was one of those weird things where like I was reverted way back to 2007. Me, my little, she wasn't brand new, but you know, our little girl, she was little. She's not little anymore. She's an adult now. That's crazy. But yeah, I wore these everywhere, dude. Like it was my shoe. You know what I'm saying? I don't even love all black sneakers anymore, but putting these on, I was just like, maybe. Now the rest of the upper on these guys is kind of interesting because I remember the originals being fully synthetic. They were very soft, but they were also susceptible to the cracking that you would get in, you know, synthetic nubuck uppers. People that are like well versed in Jordan Brand products, like over the years, like OG heads and things like that, you guys already know because like there's been multiple versions of shoes since the 80s that do that. Durabuck, for example, cracks over time. The original Air Jordan 11, the patent leather, cracks and peels over time. This was kind of that same thing. However, this guy right here doesn't feel the same as those. The top coat definitely feels synthetic, so the nubuck that they've got on here doesn't feel like real nubuck or anything like that, much like the original. I will say this feels a little bit, I wouldn't say fuzzy, but like it just has a different feel to it. Like the original was almost rough for like a synthetic nubuck and stuff, and this one right here is just kind of smoother, you know what I mean? Like it's interesting. But when I'm looking at the cut lines, you can see that there are still little fibers in there, so I'm wondering if there's traces of animal material in there, because usually if it's fully synthetic, the brand will let you know. It'll come with a sticker that says that the upper contains synthetic leather, and this one does not. So that leads me to believe that the shoe was actually made with actual raw materials, just not the nicest ones, because they're mimicking that original release from 07, which was fully synthetic. Does that mean that this is an upgrade? I would say in certain instances, like the materials and the overall shape, yes. One of my favorite features about the Black Cat Air Jordan 3, or just the Black Cat and Pure Money series in general, like in 2007, these dropped alongside, not literally alongside, but there was another shoe, all white, they were called Pure Moneys. So instead of like pulling down this back tab and seeing Black Cat, it said Pure Money back there. And then the prior year, I believe, was the Black Cat 4s and Pure Money 4s. So like those were the two different releases, but as far as the 3s are concerned, they had special laces with them, whereas the Air Jordan 4s, I believe, came with posters. Some people don't love the laces that come with these. They are elephant print laces to tie in with the elephant print that is on the heel and toe. I will say that the original actually matched the elephant print that you see, so the black with the dark gray, whereas the new one's straight up like black on black, you know what I mean? Because it's that newer elephant print that's looking more like the original elephant print. Another thing that they had changed are actually the logos on here. So these guys right here feature, instead of stitched, it's like the DMPs, although not as raised, not as like puff paint feeling. These are more flat, but either way, you've got the logos on there. They're not stitched, they are glued on. They look good. It made it have a premium type of feel, especially when we're talking about 07. And much like the overall shape being, you know, newly structured and redone to look like the original, the tongue very much the same. So while the logos are reminiscent of the original version of the Black Cat 3, the tongue is very much in line with the newer versions, where it's very streamlined and cleaned up. Same thing with the collar padding. It's very thin, but they've got that slightly altered liner in there, so it's not quite as fuzzy as the originals. And by originals this time, I'm talking about the 88 original Air Jordan 3. This, again, they're trying to mimic that 2007 version of the Black Cats, which they did a great job with. As far as sizing is concerned, they do fit true to size. Whatever you typically wear, that is exactly what I would order. They fit very much in line with the Black Cement 3s that just recently dropped, so whatever size you are wearing in those, order the same thing in these and you'll be good to go. And if you're local to our area, which is the Sacramento area, and you're looking for a pair in store, make sure that you head over to Phenom. They're located in the Doco Shopping Center right across from Macy's. They should have these in all sizes on release day. I don't know if they will by the time you get there, but fingers crossed. Now, with all of that being said, what is today's question of the day? Why are you smirking? What the f you got over there?
Because it just feels like this is the most fitting question that could go in a video. What do you feel makes a sneakerhead? The love for shoes, how many pairs they own, whether they know the history of sneakers or not. You guys are the best.
Well, thank you. So I appreciate that. At first I had like process that. That's a loaded question that has, depending on who you ask, multiple answers. You know what I mean? Like, does a sneakerhead have to own hundreds of shoes? No. Does a sneakerhead have to know all the history about all things? No. Does a sneakerhead have to have some level of desire to attain or obtain a pair of shoes? Yes. Like, that's the initial lust. You know what I mean? Like, when you first see something, whatever it might be, walking or driving or whatever by, and you see it and you just are immediately attracted to that thing, like, that makes you interested in that thing. You know what I'm saying? And if that happens to be sneakers, that's awesome. It might be a one and done type of thing though. You might see an original pair of Air Jordan 12s, love them, buy them, wear them out, and then throw them away and never buy another pair of Jordans again. You never know. It just really depends on the situation. For me, I just think that a general love slash lust slash appreciation for all things sneakers, and I don't just mean like one-sided in terms of brand, kind of makes you, in my head at least, a sneakerhead. But there are different things, like, you know, those circle diagram things where like certain things overlap.
A
like
Venn diagram?
I didn't want to say it and be wrong, but yes. But that's kind of like what a sneakerhead is. Like, there's different sectors, you know what I mean? And then there are super sneakerheads that are the very finite ones right in the middle that kind of like connect to all of those different variables. And so I understand that for me as a sneakerhead personally, I am probably that smaller percentage. You know what I mean? Like, I care about all sneakers. I care about all brands. I care about performance. I care about technology, like the innovation that you see in the footwear. You know what I mean? Like, moving things forward. I care about design. I care about design language. I care about the manufacturing process. And I can guarantee you that the majority of sneakerheads out there couldn't give two shits about that kind of stuff. So it makes me a unique version of a sneakerhead, but not exclusively like a sneakerhead, because like I said, there's all the different versions of them that all come together. Like, there's hype beasts, there's new generation sneakerheads, you know what I mean? It just kind of depends on like how your mind thinks. Like, just like anything, like you could be a movie buff, or you can be only into a certain type of movie, like a scary movie or a comic book movie or whatever. Because like, I would say that we're kind of movie buffs in a way, but I also am real reluctant to go and watch something that's not a comic book movie.
I was going to throw out there as an example, I would consider myself a Swiftie. Do I know every single fact about every single song or every single boyfriend or every single...
Right. Are you a super fan?
Yeah. No, I don't. But I really enjoy her music. I've enjoyed it for a long time. You know, I know some weird things, but I am not a walking encyclopedia for her.
Right. And that could be said for anything or any topic that anyone is into. So like I said, there's just different levels to whatever the fandom is that you're into. And I don't think that disregarding anyone is proper. You can't be like, oh, you only like Jordans, you're not a sneakerhead. It's just like, no, grow up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how it works.
At the end of the day, I think we should all remember in our variations of nerddom, it's better to be inclusive than exclusive, and to be kind about it. Like, share your knowledge. Don't put others down for not knowing something, because at one point you didn't know where they were.
Exactly. That's my main purpose of everything. Not my purpose, but like, that's my main thought process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say that I'm taking it upon myself to do this, because like, that's arrogant. You know what I mean? But in the way that we do things here, I do try to speak to people that are like me, and I don't do that to exclude anybody, because I feel like I am inclusive. But it's, if you don't know something, maybe you learn something, and if you did know something, maybe you can add something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that that's part of being a community in anything. But anyway, sound off below and let us know what your thoughts are on the topic itself of being a sneakerhead. Do you agree with me or think more in the terms of myself where there's a lot of different versions and we're all sneakerheads? It doesn't matter. If anything, I don't even like using that word because people get weird about it, you know what I mean? They try to gatekeep. That's strange. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for everything. We appreciate you guys being here and spending your time with us, especially if you are right now at the timestamp, because that means that you're fucking awesome. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So until then, y'all have a good one.